My husband's childhood best friend made me invisible for years, so her boyfriend and I did it better. Chloe had perfected the art of making me disappear. At every barbecue, game night, or birthday party, she'd greet everyone with elaborate hugs and inside jokes. Everyone except me. I'd stand there holding a casserole dish like a ghost. She remembered everyone's coffee orders and work drama. But when I tried to join conversations, she'd literally turn her back to me. It was surgical-level social exclusion. My husband, Mark, always defended her. Chloe's just shy around new people. We'd been doing this for 3 years. I watched her instantly bond with every other girlfriend and random +1, just never me. The breaking point came at Mark's birthday dinner. Chloe organized the whole thing without telling me. I found out when Mark mentioned it casually. Didn't Chloe tell you? She's been planning this for weeks. That night, there was no seat saved for me. Chloe looked shocked to see me, like I'd crashed her party. I got squeezed in at the end, listening to stories about people I'd never met while Chloe held court. That's when I noticed Ryan, Chloe's boyfriend, sitting diagonal from me, just as uncomfortable. When our eyes met, he gave me a knowing smile. After dinner, he came up to me. "Hey, you're Mark's wife, right? I'm Ryan." We ended up talking in the lobby. Ryan worked at a coffee shop where I'd been getting lattes for 2 years. He recognized me but never said anything because Chloe called me her friend's weird wife. "She talks about you a lot," he admitted. "None of it's kind. Says you're obsessed with their friend group, that Mark pities you." I felt sick. All this time I'd been trying to make friends and Chloe was making me sound like a clingy social climber. But then Ryan said, "Honestly, I think she's jealous. You're everything she pretends to be." We started texting after that. Nothing romantic, just two people on the outside. He sent me screenshots of Chloe's rants and I shared stories of her freezing me out. Turns out she'd been doing the same thing to him, excluding him from mutual friends, canceling dates because the group needed her. We didn't plan revenge, we just became friends. We'd meet for coffee, talk about life, send each other book recommendations. For the first time, I felt seen. When Mark's next birthday came, Ryan and I threw him a surprise party, something fun and genuine. Chloe found out 3 days before and showed up furious. "How dare you plan this without me?" she shouted. "I'm his best friend. It's a surprise party," I said calmly. "Since when is Ryan part of we? What's going on between you two?" Mark walked in right as she accused me of stealing her boyfriend. Her mask cracked. "Chloe, they're throwing me a party," Mark said. "Why are you upset?" "Because she's doing this to hurt me." The party happened that weekend. Chloe arrived late with a store-bought cake and tried to dominate, but something had shifted. People actually talked to me. Ryan and I worked the room like a team, making people feel welcome. Chloe kept forcing herself into conversations, claiming credit for everything. But the spell was broken. Then Mark's college roommate pulled me aside. "Why did Chloe say you were antisocial? You're the most welcoming person here." "She said that?" I asked, stunned. "Yeah, she made it sound like you hated these things." Ryan overheard. "She told me the same," he said. "You all thought I was boring." Others chimed in. Chloe had been sowing division for years, manipulating narratives so no one noticed what she was doing. Later, Mark confronted her. She melted down, accusing me of stealing her friends and Ryan of betraying her. But everyone had finally seen her clearly. Chloe and Ryan broke up that night. She stormed out, screaming about betrayal and fake friendships. A few weeks later, my sister sent me a screenshot. "Someone's using your name on Instagram, but it's not you." I pulled up the profile and my vision blurred. Chloe had created an entire fake account using my full name, my stolen photos, my job title, listing Mark as her husband. She was posting about our anniversary, our weekend plans. My actual family had been commenting for weeks, not realizing it wasn't me. Mark found more accounts, a LinkedIn with my credentials, a Pinterest labeled My Dream Life that was just screenshots of my real life. Then my gym called. "We need to verify your membership because someone else has been checking in under your name." Ryan texted right then, his message making my hands shake. "Chloe just walked into my office and introduced herself to my boss as you. Said you and Mark were separated." I drove to Ryan's workplace and saw her through the window, wearing my style of clothes, laughing with his coworkers. And when she spotted me outside, she waved with my exact gesture and mouthed the words, "I'm better at being you." I stood there on the sidewalk, frozen. My phone was still in my hand, Ryan's text still glowing on the screen. Through the glass, Chloe tilted her head the way I do when I'm listening, touched her collarbone the way I do when I'm nervous. She'd studied me like a part in a play, memorized every gesture, every mannerism. Ryan came out first, his face completely pale. "I swear I didn't know she was coming here. She told my assistant she was you, and that she was surprising me with lunch. My assistant just let her through." "What did she say to your boss?" "That you and Mark are having problems. That you've been really distant lately, and I've been a good friend through it all." He ran his hand through his hair, looking sick. "My boss asked if you were okay, like he's known you for years, like you work here or something." I pushed past him and walked inside. The office was one of those modern, open-plan spaces with glass walls everywhere. Chloe was perched on the edge of Ryan's desk, holding a coffee cup with my exact order written on the side. Caramel macchiato with extra foam, the drink I'd been getting for the past 4 years. She looked up when I approached and smiled like we were old friends meeting for brunch. "Oh, hey," she said brightly, like we'd just run into each other at Target. "I was just telling everyone how Ryan's been such a support system for you during this rough patch." "Get out," I said, my voice shaking. Ryan's boss stepped out of his office, a middle-aged guy with glasses and a concerned expression. "Everything okay out here?" Chloe stood up smoothly, gracefully, the way I always wanted to but never quite managed. Actually, I should get going. Ryan, we'll talk later about that thing, okay? She touched his arm, the same casual touch I'd use, then walked past me so close I could smell my perfume on her skin. Not a similar scent, the exact one, the lavender and vanilla blend I ordered online. I turned to Ryan's boss. I'm actually Mark's wife. That woman has been impersonating me. He looked genuinely confused, his eyebrows pulling together. But she knew details about Ryan's schedule, about the coffee order he usually gets you. She mentioned that project you two talked about last month, because she's been watching us for months, I said, hearing how completely insane it sounded out loud. She's been tracking everything we do. His expression shifted from confusion to concern, the kind of look you give someone you think might be having a breakdown. Maybe you should sit down for a minute. Back in the car, I couldn't stop shaking. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. Ryan got in the passenger seat, his face gray. We need to document everything. Every account, every interaction, every place she's used your name. This is beyond weird now. This is like criminal. She's been doing this for 18 months, I said quietly, staring at nothing. That Instagram account? It's not new. She's been building this for over a year and I never even noticed. When I got home, Mark was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop open, his expression dark. You need to see this, right now. The fake Instagram account had 3,247 followers. My real account had 892. I scrolled through her posts and my stomach dropped straight through the floor. She'd been posting consistently, 3 times a week minimum, using photos I'd never shared publicly. Pictures from my phone, from my cloud storage, from my actual life. Beach trips, birthday dinners, random Tuesday afternoons. The comments were from real people, mutual friends, Mark's family members, people I'd known for years. You seem so much happier lately, Mark's aunt had written on a post from 2 weeks ago, with 3 heart emojis. Love this new energy, girl, a friend from college commented. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Someone else wrote, finally see you smiling again. You deserve it. Mark clicked over to the follower list. 38 people follow both accounts. They don't even realize one is fake. They're just liking whatever shows up in their feed. I recognized names, people who'd known me for years, people who'd been at our wedding, and they were liking Chloe's version of my life more than my actual life. The posts were better curated, the captions wittier, more engaging. She used better filters, posted at optimal times, used hashtags effectively. The whole persona was more polished, more aspirational. She'd taken my life and edited out everything that made me human, everything that made me real. I'm calling the police, Mark said, reaching for his phone. And tell them what? That someone made a better version of me online and people like it more? He closed the laptop hard. This is identity theft. This is harassment. This is, I don't know, stalking or fraud or something illegal. It has to be. My phone rang right then, the caller ID showing my hairstylist's name. Hey, I just wanted to confirm you're coming in tomorrow at 2, she said cheerfully. I don't have an appointment tomorrow. There was a pause. Oh, you were just here yesterday though. Did you want to reschedule the touch-up or cancel it completely? My mouth went dry. I haven't been to the salon in 6 weeks, not since before Christmas. That's not possible. You were literally in my chair yesterday afternoon. We did your usual trim and toner, you paid with your card ending in 4387, you even tipped extra because I stayed late. That was my credit card. My actual credit card. What did she look like? Like you? Same height, same hair, obviously she even knew about the product you use at home, that leave-in conditioner you asked me about last time. She told me about your sister's engagement party coming up. My sister had just gotten engaged 3 days ago. I'd told exactly 4 people. Chloe wasn't one of them. I hung up and looked at Mark. She's been going to my salon, using my name, my appointment slot, my credit card. She knew about my sister's engagement. How does she have your credit card information? I opened my wallet. My credit card was right there in the slot where it always lived. She must have copied the number from one of my accounts or taken a photo of it or, I don't know, maybe she has access to my online banking somehow. Mark grabbed his keys off the counter. We're going to the bank, right now. We're freezing everything and figuring out what the hell she's been doing. At the bank, the manager pulled up my account history on her screen. Charges I didn't recognize dotted the timeline. Small ones, strategically spread out over months. Coffee shops, bookstores, restaurants, the salon, a gym membership to my gym, subscription services I'd never signed up for. She'd been using my card for almost a year, keeping the charges small enough that I wouldn't notice in my monthly statements, mixing them in with my regular purchases. I want to file a fraud claim, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Someone's been using my card without permission. The manager looked uncomfortable, clicking through screens. Ma'am, some of these charges have your signature on the receipts. The system shows they were approved with PIN entry in some cases. That's not possible. I never made these purchases. She turned her screen around. The signature on the digital receipt looked exactly like mine. Same slant, same loop on the Y, same way I crossed my T's. Chloe had been practicing my signature, perfecting it until it was indistinguishable from the real thing. And the PIN? I asked weakly. It shows successful PIN entry at several locations. The gym, the grocery store near your house, a few restaurants. She had my PIN. She had my actual PIN number that I'd never told anyone, that I'd set up 5 years ago using my childhood dog's birthday. We drove to Mark's parents' house next. I needed to see the photo albums his mom had mentioned. Needed to see proof that this was really happening. His mom answered the door with a huge smile, the kind she usually saved for holidays. Oh, sweetheart, back again so soon? Mom, what are you talking about? Mark said, his voice tight. She was just here last week. Last Thursday, actually. We had the loveliest visit, spent the whole afternoon together. She gestured toward the living room. Come see. She finally organized all the photo albums like she'd been promising to do for the past 2 years. The coffee table was covered in perfectly arranged photo albums, each one labeled in handwriting that looked almost exactly like mine, just slightly neater, more controlled. Birth to age 5, elementary school years, high school, college, our wedding. Mark's entire life categorized and preserved. Mark's mom kept talking, her voice warm with genuine affection. We had such a wonderful time. She told me stories about the photos, remembered details I'd forgotten. She even brought those cookies I love, the lemon ones from that bakery on 5th Street. Mom, I said carefully, my voice barely working. That wasn't me. Someone's been pretending to be me. She laughed like I was making a joke. Honey, I think I know my own daughter-in-law. We've been having coffee together for weeks now. She's been coming every Thursday, very consistent. She knew everything about the family. She even brought up that story about Mark's 10th birthday party that only we would remember, the one with the broken piñata. Mark pulled out his phone and showed her the fake Instagram account. Mom, this woman, Chloe, she's been impersonating her. Look, these are stolen photos. His mom squinted at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. Her smile started to fade. But these photos? They're definitely of you. And the things she talked about, the memories, they were real. How would she know those things? She's been accessing my phone, my computer, my entire digital life, I said. She knows things about me that I barely remember myself. The smile was completely gone now. Why would someone do that? What could they possibly gain? I didn't have an answer that made sense. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the small ways I'd been failing lately. The missed birthdays, the forgotten errands, the texts I'd left unread for days. Chloe had been filling in those gaps, being the version of me that showed up, that remembered, that cared enough to follow through. Around 2 a.m., I gave up and got up. I started going through my phone methodically. Every app, every setting, cloud storage, email, photos, notes, everything. That's when I found it. An unfamiliar device logged into my iCloud account, listed as iPad mini, but I'd never owned an iPad. It had been connected for 374 days, accessing my photos, my contacts, my calendar, my messages, everything. I shook Mark awake. She's had access to everything for over a year. Every photo I've taken, every email I've sent, every note I've written, every text message. She's been downloading my entire life, studying it. He sat up, rubbing his eyes. How is that even possible? How would she get your password? I don't know. Maybe she cloned my phone somehow, or guessed my password, or installed some kind of spyware. I trailed off, remembering all the times Chloe had been at our house for parties and dinners, all the times my phone had been sitting on the kitchen counter unattended, charging by the couch, left in my purse in the other room. Mark got up and started pacing in his boxers. We need to call Ryan. If she did this to you, she might have done the same thing to him. He needs to check. But when we called, Ryan didn't answer. I tried 3 more times before he finally picked up, his voice thick with sleep. It's 2 a.m., he said groggily. Someone better be dying. Check your cloud storage, your email, everything. See if there's an unknown device logged in. Do it right now. I heard rustling, probably him sitting up and grabbing his laptop. Then silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. Oh my God, there's a device I don't recognize. MacBook Air, but I've never owned a MacBook. It's been accessing my stuff for 8 months. She'd been studying both of us, learning our patterns, our habits, our routines, our lives. Every vulnerability, every insecurity, every password and preference. She had my therapy session notes, the ones I dictated into my phone after appointments. She knew things I'd never told anyone except my therapist, my deepest fears and worst moments. The next morning, I went into work early. I needed to talk to my boss before Chloe could do any more damage, before she could spin whatever narrative she was building. But when I got there, my boss called me into her office with a concerned expression, the kind you give someone you're worried about. Is everything okay at home? She asked gently, gesturing for me to sit. You seemed really upset when you came in last week to talk. I wasn't here last week. I was at that conference in Seattle, the marketing one. I sent you updates from there. She pulled up her calendar, scrolling back. No, you were definitely here. Thursday afternoon, around 3 p.m. You asked to reduce your hours because of family stress, said you needed more flexibility to deal with some personal issues. The room started spinning. What exactly did I say? That things with Mark were getting difficult, that you were struggling to balance everything. You seemed pretty emotional about it, honestly. I really appreciated you being so open and honest about it instead of just disappearing or calling in sick all the time. She paused, studying my face. Wait, if that wasn't you, someone's been impersonating me, I said, hearing how crazy it sounded. She's been doing it for over a year, maybe longer. My boss's face went pale. But she had your ID badge. She swiped in at the front desk. She knew where your office was. She even mentioned the Jacobson project you've been leading. Specific details about the client. Because Chloe had access to my work emails, my calendar, my entire digital life, she knew more about my job than I did lately, had probably been reading my emails before I even opened them. I spent the rest of the day with HR and building security, trying to figure out how she'd gotten past the front desk, how she'd had an ID badge with my name on it. They pulled surveillance footage from last Thursday, and there she was, clear as day. walking through the lobby in clothes I owned, wearing my style, carrying a bag I recognized from my closet. The security guard had waved her through without a second glance. "She looks just like you," the security director said, freeze-framing the footage. "Same height, same hair, same general build. If she had a valid ID and knew where she was going, there's no reason the guard would stop her." "But she's not me," I said uselessly. That evening, Ryan called. His voice was shaking in a way I'd never heard before. "I found something. In Chloe's apartment. You and Mark need to come see this right now." Mark and I drove to meet him. He was standing outside her building, holding a phone I'd never seen before, a cheap burner-style smartphone with a cracked screen. "It was hidden in her nightstand," he said, "back behind the drawer taped to the wood. It only has one contact saved." He handed the phone to Mark. The contact was saved as Mark, with a photo of him from our wedding, and the text history made me physically nauseous. 6 months of messages, sweet and attentive, apologizing for arguments I didn't remember having, making plans I'd never agreed to, saying things I'd never said. Chloe had been texting Mark as me, and he'd been responding, thinking it was his wife trying to reconnect. Mark scrolled through, his face getting paler with each message. His hands were shaking. That weekend in September when I thought we'd finally reconnected, when we stayed up late talking about everything. That wasn't you texting me. That was her. "What did you talk about?" I asked quietly, not sure I wanted to know. "Everything. She, you, God." She told me about her day in detail, asked about mine, said things I'd been wanting to hear for months. Things about us, about our relationship, about wanting to try harder. He looked at me with devastated eyes. Some of my favorite memories from this fall, the times I thought we were finally getting back on track, those were with her, not you. I was falling back in love with her version of you. Ryan was staring at his phone, his own face pale. "She's been doing the same thing to me. Look." He showed us messages where I had been talking to Ryan about books, movies, life philosophy. Long conversations full of inside jokes and references, deeper than we'd ever actually talked. "I thought you were just being friendlier, opening up more. I didn't realize it wasn't actually you texting me." Some of these conversations I told her things I've never told anyone. Chloe had been having relationships with both of them, pretending to be me, having the deep conversations and emotional connections that I'd been too tired or distracted to have, and neither of them had noticed. Or maybe they had noticed something was different and just assumed I was finally trying, finally being the person they wanted me to be. I went to my doctor's office the next day to check my medical records, to see how deep this went. The receptionist greeted me warmly, like an old friend. "Good to see you again. How are you feeling after the physical?" I didn't have a physical. My appointment is scheduled for next month, the 15th. She checked her computer, her smile faltering. "No, you were definitely here 3 weeks ago, January 8th. Dr. Patterson did your annual exam, updated your complete health history, even refilled your prescriptions. You were here for almost 2 hours. Can I see the records?" They pulled up the file. Chloe had attended my appointment, given my insurance information, answered detailed questions about my medical history with accuracy that terrified me. She knew about the car accident when I was 16, the anxiety medication I'd tried in college, the knee surgery from high school volleyball, information I'd entered into health portals years ago, stored in my cloud. Dr. Patterson's notes said, "Patient seems significantly more engaged with her health than in previous years, and has been consistently taking medications and following up on referrals. Significant improvement in overall health management." The worst part was the receptionist adding, "You'd actually rescheduled that appointment twice before, so we were really glad when you called back and moved it up earlier. Much more responsible than usual. You even filled out all the paperwork ahead of time online." Chloe was maintaining my healthcare better than I was. She was being a better version of me at the doctor's office, at the salon, at work, everywhere. That night, Mark and I decided to go out to dinner to talk through everything, to figure out what our next move should be, what we could even do legally. When we came home around 10 p.m., there were extra cars on our street, at least 6 or 7 vehicles I didn't recognize. The lights in our house were blazing like we were throwing a party. Through the front window, I could see people moving around inside, laughing and talking, holding wine glasses. We walked up to the door, and it was unlocked. Inside, about 15 people were gathered in our living room and kitchen, chatting comfortably, music playing softly. Chloe was in the center of the kitchen, wearing an apron I owned, pulling a fresh batch of cookies out of my oven with my oven mitts. She looked up when we walked in, and her face didn't even change, didn't show any surprise or guilt. "Oh hey, you're back earlier than I expected. Everyone, Mark and his wife are home." The people turned and I recognized them. Our neighbors from 3 houses down, some of Mark's co-workers I'd met at the holiday party, a couple I vaguely recognized from the gym. They all greeted us warmly, smiling and raising their glasses. One neighbor, an older woman named Helen, came up to me. "Thank you so much for hosting tonight. This was such a lovely idea, really brings the neighborhood together. We should do this monthly." I couldn't speak. My voice was completely gone. Mark's coworker, a guy named Jeff, clapped him on the shoulder. "Your wife really outdid herself with the appetizers, man. Those stuffed mushrooms? Amazing. You're a lucky guy." Chloe was beside me suddenly, touching my arm with familiar ease, the exact amount of pressure I'd use. "I hope you don't mind that I used your kitchen. I tried to keep everything organized. Everything's cleaned up already, don't worry." She'd used my recipes, the ones saved in my phone. The mushrooms were my grandmother's recipe. The guests started leaving over the next 20 minutes. thanking us for the wonderful evening, hugging Chloe, telling us we should definitely make this a regular thing. Chloe walked them out, playing the perfect host in my house, in my life, wearing my relationships like a costume. When the last person left, she turned to us with that same calm smile. No panic, no embarrassment, nothing. I left a thank you note on the counter for letting me borrow your home. On the kitchen counter, next to the leftover cookies, was a note in handwriting that looked exactly like mine. Thanks for letting me borrow your home, Kay. She walked past us toward the front door, grabbing her purse from the hook where I kept mine. See you Thursday, she called out cheerfully, like this was completely normal, like she just stopped by for coffee. Mark locked the door behind her and leaned against it, his face white. She has a copy of our house key. She's been coming here when we're not home. Had, I corrected weakly. She probably has multiple copies by now. She's probably made copies of every key I own. We spent the next hour checking the house. Nothing was stolen, but small things were different. The kitchen was cleaner than I'd left it. The living room had been rearranged slightly. Furniture moved a few inches. My cookbooks were organized by height instead of the random way I'd shoved them on the shelf. She'd improved my house just like she'd improved everything else. The next violation came from my college roommate Nina, who I hadn't talked to in months. She called the following afternoon while I was still reeling. Hey, I know we usually video chat on Sundays, but I'm free now if you want to talk. I have that update about the job situation I mentioned. Nina, we haven't video chatted in like 2 years, not since you moved to Boston. Very funny. We literally talked last Sunday, and the Sunday before that. We've been doing weekly calls since like July, you know that? My hands went cold. What job situation? What did we talk about? There was a long pause. The one in Portland? You said you were seriously considering it, that things with Mark had gotten so bad you were thinking about a fresh start somewhere new? You were asking me about the job market there, cost of living, whether I thought you should just do it. I asked her to send me screenshots of their recent conversations. What she sent over the next few minutes made my knees weak. I had to sit down on the floor. Monthly video calls going back 7 months, text exchanges happening weekly, long conversations about my marriage falling apart, about feeling trapped, about wanting to disappear and start over somewhere no one knew me. Chloe had been using some kind of filter or deepfake software, sitting in front of a camera and having full conversations with my best friend, while slowly feeding her a narrative where I was planning to leave everything behind. She's been planting seeds, Mark said when I showed him the screenshots. Making it seem like you're going to vanish so when you actually do disappear, no one will question it. They'll just think you finally did what you'd been planning. But I'm not planning to disappear, I said. She is though. She's planning for you to disappear. She's setting up the story. Ryan came over that evening with printouts, pages, and pages of evidence he'd been collecting obsessively. Chloe's social media activity, the fake accounts, timestamps of when she'd accessed our devices, everything. We spread it all out on the dining room table like we were investigating a murder. We need to confront her, Ryan said, his jaw tight. With all of this. With everyone who matters present. Force her to admit what she's been doing in front of witnesses. She won't care, I said, staring at a printout of the fake Instagram. She showed up at my work, my doctor's office, my hair salon, threw a party in my house. She's not hiding anymore. She's not scared of being caught. Mark was quiet, staring at the second phone with the text messages. She's been doing this because she thinks she loves me. That's what this is really about, isn't it? What? Think about it. She's not trying to steal your identity to commit fraud or destroy your credit or ruin your life out of pure malice. She's trying to become you so she can have the life she thinks I deserved. The better wife, the improved version, the one who actually shows up. He looked at me. She's doing this for me. The realization sat heavy in the room. The next evening, we set it up. Mark called his parents, his sister, our closest friends. Ryan invited his family members. I called Nina and flew her in, called my sister, my mom. We told everyone we needed to have a family meeting about something serious, that it involved Chloe, and they all needed to hear it. They gathered in Mark's parents' living room the following Saturday, confused and concerned. Chloe showed up last, walking in with a casserole dish like she was contributing to a potluck, like she belonged there. "What's going on?" Mark's mom asked, looking around nervously. I stood up, my laptop in my hands. I need to show you all something. This is going to take a while, but I need everyone to watch and listen. For the next 30 minutes, I walked them through everything methodically. The fake Instagram account with more followers than my real one, showing them side-by-side comparisons. The stolen medical appointments and hair salon visits. The receptionist testimony. The fake ID badge at my work and the security footage of her walking through my office building. The second phone with 6 months of intimate text messages with Mark. The cloud storage access showing 374 days of unauthorized entry. The credit card charges with forged signatures. The video calls with Nina using facial filter technology. Every single piece of evidence we'd collected, every violation, every theft, every impersonation. I showed them the surveillance footage of Chloe walking through my office building in my clothes, the receipts with my signature that wasn't mine, the doctor's notes from the physical I never attended, the photos of her wearing my style, my jewelry, my life. The room was completely silent when I finished. You could hear people breathing. Then my own mother said quietly, not meeting my eyes, "But sweetheart, you have to admit, you've been dropping the ball lately. Missing things, forgetting commitments. I've noticed it for the past year or more." Mark's sister nodded slowly, looking uncomfortable. And some of those recent visits, the photo albums, the family dinners, the neighborhood party, those were really nice. Better than, she trailed off, not finishing the sentence. Better than what I was doing? I asked, my voice hollow. No one answered directly, but I could see it in their faces, the truth they didn't want to say out loud. They'd enjoyed Chloe's version of me, the one who showed up on time, who remembered birthdays without Facebook reminders, who organized things and followed through, the one who performed the role of daughter-in-law, wife, friend perfectly without complaint. Ryan's mom spoke up, looking genuinely confused. I still don't understand. If this is all true, why would she do this? What does she get out of pretending to be someone else? Chloe stood up from where she'd been sitting quietly in the corner. She'd been silent through my entire presentation, just listening with a calm expression. When she rose, every eye in the room turned to her. She looked serene, almost peaceful. I did this because all of you were too polite to admit she wasn't enough, she said clearly, her voice steady. I fixed her relationships. I remembered your birthdays. I showed up when she didn't. I became the version of her you all deserved but were too nice to ask for. My sister started to protest, but Chloe kept talking, her voice getting stronger. Mark's mom, I sat with you every Thursday for 2 months organizing those photo albums because she kept promising to help and never following through. You'd mention it every time she visited and she'd say, next time, and then forget again. Nina, I listened to you talk about your divorce and your new job and your mother's cancer scare because she was too busy or too tired to schedule a simple video call with her supposed best friend, Dr.
Patterson. I made sure her health screenings were up to date because she was neglecting her own body, missing appointments, not refilling prescriptions that she actually needs. She turned to look directly at me. You were letting everything fall apart. Your job, your health, your relationships, your marriage, and everyone was just watching it happen, making excuses for you, lowering their expectations. So I stepped in and maintained what you couldn't be bothered to maintain. She turned to Mark, and her voice softened into something almost tender. And you. I've loved you since we were kids, since before you even knew she existed. I've watched you be unhappy with her for years, watched you settle for someone who couldn't even manage to be present in her own life. I didn't steal anything. I just became who you actually needed, who you deserve to have. She held up the second phone, the one with their text messages. Every sweet word, every time she actually listened to you, every moment you felt seen and understood and valued, that was me, not her. And you loved it, Mark. You let me do it because you wanted this version so badly. You responded to every text, you opened up, you engaged. You wanted the wife who cared. Mark's face had gone completely white. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Chloe looked around the room at every face. You all did. You all preferred me. The cookies at the party, the organized Thursday visits, the genuine interest in your lives, the follow-through on promises. That's what you really wanted. Not the half-hearted, distracted version she was giving you. Not the woman who couldn't remember a birthday, or show up on time, or finish what she started. I watched my mother-in-law, my sister, my best friend, Mark's coworkers. Not one of them was meeting my eyes. Not one of them was rushing to my defense. Ryan stood up, his voice hard. That doesn't make it okay. You stole her identity, her medical records, her financial information. You committed fraud. You violated every boundary that exists. I maintained her life, Chloe corrected calmly. I kept up with things she was letting fall apart. And honestly, look at the results. Her doctor said she's healthier now. Her boss appreciates her more because someone finally talked to her about work-life balance. Her family feels more connected because someone actually shows up. I improved everything I touched. I made her life better than she was making it. The worst part was that she wasn't wrong. The fake Instagram did have more engagement because the posts were better, more thoughtful, better timed. The hair appointments were kept because someone actually showed up instead of canceling last minute. The relationships were stronger because someone was putting in consistent effort. Chloe had taken my life and optimized it, made it perform better, made it more successful by every metric that mattered to other people. I looked at Mark, really looked at him. His favorite recent memories, the ones he'd treasured, weren't with me. I looked at his mother, who'd enjoyed the Thursday afternoon visits more than our usual quick, obligatory stops. I looked at Nina, who'd had more meaningful, vulnerable conversations with my impersonator than she'd had with me in the past 2 years. I looked at my own mother, who couldn't deny that I'd been dropping the ball, failing at basic things, disappointing people. Chloe had proven something devastating. I was replaceable. And worse, the replacement was preferred. The knockoff was better than the original. I stood up, and the room went quiet, everyone turning to look at me. I walked over to where Chloe was standing, calm and confident, and looked her directly in the eyes. She met my gaze steadily. No shame, no apology, no fear, just certainty. You win, I said simply. You can have all of it. The hair appointments, and the family dinners, and the coffee dates, and the Thursday afternoons. You can have the friends who like you better, and the doctor who thinks you're more responsible. You can even have him. I turned to Mark, and my voice came out steadier than I expected. You wanted someone who's performing for you instead of living with you, so congratulations. You found her. She'll never disappoint you because she's not real. She's a performance piece, and you can watch it forever. I pulled my house key off my keyring and held it out to Chloe. She looked at it, then at Mark, then back at me. For the first time since I'd met her, I saw uncertainty cross her face. Just a flicker. You said you're better at being me, I said. So be me. Do it forever. Wake up every single day and maintain the performance. Remember everyone's coffee orders and birthdays and favorite stories and childhood traumas. Never miss an appointment or forget a commitment or have a bad day. Be perfect all the time, every time, because that's what they want. That's what they chose. I dropped the key into her hand. Key, good luck sustaining that. I walked out of that room, out of that house, past the people who'd chosen her version over my reality.
Mark called my name, his voice cracking. But I didn't stop. I didn't even pause. Ryan followed me to my car, trying to say something, but I shook my head. Don't, I said, my hand on the car door. You liked her texts better too. I know you did. They were deeper, more thoughtful. She was a better friend to you than I was. That's not fair, he said. It's completely fair. It's the truth. I drove to a hotel that night, a cheap one off the highway, and blocked everyone's numbers. Over the next week, I packed up my things from the house during the day when Mark was at work, took only what was genuinely mine, and left. I didn't take the wedding china or the furniture we'd bought together or anything we'd built as a couple. I took my clothes, my books, my laptop, and my grandmother's recipe box. I signed divorce papers through a lawyer. Mark tried to contest it, left voicemails I didn't listen to, sent emails I deleted unread. He wanted to fight for us, he said through the lawyer. He'd made a mistake. He missed the real me, but it was too late for that. 6 months later, I was living in a different city 3 states away, under my own name, working a job where no one knew my history. I'd deleted all my social media accounts, every single one, changed my phone number, got a new email address, started over completely, built a life from scratch.